Hey there, Planet Poke people, it's me, deogenz, and it's time for Pokemon of the Week. Now, if last week you didn't get all the goodies you were thinking was guaranteed, and instead got coal or a bunch of tube socks or some such shit like that, well then, you'll relate to this week's Pokemon of the Week, which is Delibird, and it's set the Dud Deliverance. Just like opening a box of very well-wrapped and beautiful laxatives, this guy does not bring joy to all the boys and girls. It's barely usable. It's more of a novelty if you ever decide to bring it into metagame. But because it exists, and much like cast form I thought it would be a curious thing to raise, I went ahead and tried anyway. And the only way you can make this thing sort of usable, based off of its pitiful 45-55 fluctuation of nowhere stats. Yes, you've got a 65 special attack, but that's not so grand when considering you've got a limited move pool with that. I tried to consider its hustle ability, which will increase its attack by 50%, but decrease accuracy by 20%. So, of course, on this set, Aerial Ace, which always strikes, is a must. The best way to squeeze a little extra power out of this Delibird of Doom. Doom for your team, that is. It's like kind of, if you ever watched Yu Yu Hakusho, when Yusuke had those spirit cuffs that he had to hold on to make him stronger. Think of Delibird as these cuffs, as a slot on one of your teams. You know, you're training 5 members of your team to see if they can fluctuate fantastically between each other, and Delibird's just kind of on the team to make things interesting, truthfully. It's kind of on there to build you up so that once you don't have it on the team anymore and you have a free slot, you're supercharged and powerful and realize, wow, how much that thing was holding me back. Because you can Life Orb this thing, and I guess that will be beneficial if you want to go back and forth between its different moves in this set. But Choice Band, in my mind, is the only way that you can make this thing worth using. Not to mention, aside from all these crappy base stats, it's got 4 weaknesses. 4 weaknesses that are plenty prevalent in metagame. And, you know, this is really the best way to mitigate that. Hustle, you know, kind of an okay ability, but it's laughable too, because sure, you've got more power, but just like everything Delibird does, it's a roll of the dice. If you wanted to include Present on this set, just for more jokes and novelty, you could do that, but then you run the risk of actually giving your opponent health boosts, which is way, way, way past the purpose of raising a strong metagame team. So, I hope you've laughed as much as I have in seeing how horrible this Pokemon truly is. But with Hustle, a Choice Band, and the maximization of attack effort values, it can hardly flap over to your foes and maybe give them a peck on the cheek and annoy them. So that's been the Pokemon of this week, and if you want to read some pure poetry on this Pokemon, go over to smogon.com and type in Delibird. The first black and white set's there. I don't know who wrote it, that's why I can't include it in this video, because I want to give credit where credit is due. Somebody wrote fantastic poetic musings about how mall Santas are destroying the infrastructure of our culture, and it was just too funny to not read. So go check that out. Also subscribe to Planet Poke for more Pokemon content. This is the world's first exclusively everything Pokemon channel. So anything from card openings to EV raising to walkthroughs on the games you love and games you may not have heard of, like ROM hacks, we got it all. And if you want to see other games beside that, over on my channel, youtube.com/deogenz, me and my friend Vlad, we do all sorts of games. So I'll see you next week, in which we will have a far better Pokemon to raise. Hope you enjoyed the funny.